do you look around society and see addictive behaviors in people that is acceptable? Because you must have like a giggle to yourself when you hear some of these power hungry fucking business bros.
That's an addiction. Money, power, it's all addiction. Like you can see like traits of it, because it's like, so you need to become aware of how you act, and defects are closely linked to the things you're talking about, the 7 deadly sins. Do you know what I mean? It's like, where does all these things come from? Gluttony, greed, lust, all the things. So if I'm acting out on any of these things, there'll be a consequence to pay for me. That's, do you know what I mean? I know that. But when you look about, it's like everything's set up to get people acting that way. Do you know what I mean? Like Amazon, sloth and lust, Amazon, do you know what I mean? Just click and buy and it's delivered to your door. The whole world's set up to be the opposite. I mean, it's convenience, but it's a weird one, because like Facebook will do it, right? Mm-hmm. Their argument is, we're trying to make our platform as much fun as we can make it, but it's super fucking addictive. And they pick the sounds when you click on something and the notifications in a way that they look at like, how can we make people use this product as much as possible? Yeah. And they're not looking at like, but are these people using the product because it's good for them, or are they using it because they're fucking getting addicted to it? Yeah, and TikTok and Instagram, and they're all the same. They're all like set up just to use. Yeah.
Yeah, and I understand the argument of like, we just making it as fun as possible. It's
a Panorama advert, a Panorama program that talks about how Amazon was set up for like people that were involved with Amazon early doors, how they actually set it up to be like that. Like, it is actually set up to trigger your lust and your sloth. And,
I mean, they tend to do that. Like,
it's not just by accident.
No, like even I'm gonna go back to talking about Andrew Tate, but the one thing that I've talked about this a bunch of times, the one thing he does really well is he targets the ego. He goes, you're a broke this and that, you're worthless, but if you look at me through this way, you can end up being like this. It's like, breaks you down but gives you the way out. And it's like, it's very much of like feeding on that. If you get that hook of like, oh, this feels amazing, I give you something to be proud of, and you just keep going back to it, and then the more you do it, the more like, oh, this is actually viable.
Anything that's going to give you a good feeling, you'll chase more.
Yeah.
And just that drug addicts take it to a different level.
Well, drug addicts are the ones that stuck with the one thing, you know? Like,
that's true.
I mean, that is just, if you look at it from that angle, like, fucking hell, like, I just kind of imagine that motivational video of like, fucking, I'm up at 3 a.m, fucking chasing the high, where were you? We're not the same. You're in your bed at fucking 9 a.m, trying to get 8 nights,
But look at a lot of people in recovery, it becomes like exercise or cold water dipping, or there's always something, do you know what I mean? And if you can't just be, it's just the human condition.
It's not like, there's something fascinating about how actually addiction is something that we're all capable of, and it's all, as you said, in everyday behaviors. Like, there's people addicted to all sorts of shit, and like sometimes you have to ask yourself, why am I doing the thing I'm doing? Like, I just feel the need to do it sometimes, but you go, but do I actually need it, or is just the little voice in my head going off?
Yep.
Like, it can be either, like, I've noticed I was slipping a little bit recently where I get used to, like, I go to work, come home, and just binge. And like 3 hours have gone past, I've seen I don't know how many YouTube videos and shorts, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, this isn't, what am I trying to take care of? So it was an interesting thing, but recently I was like, you know, sometimes life gets a bit too much. But I would be like, well, you know, feeling bad for yourself, you know, you should put a gap, you shouldn't feel too bad for yourself. And I was like, man, you know, maybe sometimes it's okay to be like, why me? You know, sometimes you should feel shit to get it off your chest.
It's like, you need to, no, it's not always going to be alright thing, but you need to like try. Well, for me, I can have a shit day, but not to get lost in that shit day. Do you know what I mean? I can chill out and have a shit day and be right, this day's a write-off. I'll stay in my jammies, sit on the couch, scroll Facebook, watch YouTube videos, but not to get stuck in that.
Well, yeah, there's that sort of balance thing of like how much is too much, but like the thing I was trying to get to is I realize sometimes the reason I do those things is because I'm not allowing myself to feel the underlying pain and pity for myself. Like, it's okay to pity other people, right? We tell you, like, if you feel bad for someone and you feel sympathy and empathy, that's perfectly acceptable. The moment you feel it for yourself, it's like, what are you, fucking loser? Like, I'm not saying walk around all day going, woe is me. But like, have a fucking cry. Like, sometimes life sucks.
Aye.
You know?
It does.
And you just need to get it off your chest and then try to deal with it, but... I just noticed it recently in myself.
It's alright to feel that.
And to think it of like, oh, you know, don't get lost in it. Remind yourself that this is temporary and you're going to be okay, but you can have the thought. Which was, for me, it was like, oh, hang on, that's what I'm doing wrong. I'm trying to be strong all the time.
You came to a whole new country and made a whole new life for yourself. That's amazing.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I had some fucking moments there. I'm actually, I'm always weird about accepting compliments for my achievements or the work I've done, but I'm like, yeah, I did do those things. It doesn't mean that I think I'm the shit, but I've done some cool things. Let's find out what else I can do.
Yes. See?
But yeah, thank you though. Yeah, I've done some cool things. Thank you very much.
I mean, fucking came to a whole new country where you didn't speak the language, made a life for yourself.
Did you say life or wife?
Life.
Okay.
Life.
I was like, oh, what did I miss? I've never been
That's
to Vegas.
That's how you got to stay here.
Little behind the scenes information. There's a missing Scottish sugar mum somewhere in the Highlands.
I heard your roast, I know where you got her.
Oh, shout out to the Toyboy Warehouse. That's all I got to say. You've done your research.
I was there. At the roast.
Okay.